So, everyone wants to know the tea. Let's get down to the business. Everybody came to this episode not necessarily to know about my life. You'll get to know that on the next episodes. This is Britney Spears. This is Britney Spears' life. I just kind of wanted to share that. That was just kind of like a prelude to everything, just to kind of, get everyone caught up and up to date to know that I am literally a Britney Spears fan, and pretty much since the beginning. So, yes, June 24th, 2011 was a very difficult time for me. I'm gonna have to get personal with you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna share my personal experience with Britney Spears when I met her, and as well as sharing some information about when I met some of her team, as we refer them as Team Con now, which includes Adam Leber, Larry Rudolph. I have pictures with a few of her dancers, Adam Leber and stuff like that. I met her father. The only people I didn't meet from her family on the 2 times that I went was Jamie Lynn and her mother. But other than that, I met a few of her cousins and different stuff like that. But what happened on June 24th, 2011 for it to be a bittersweet day for me, personally? You're going to forgive me, hopefully, because, this is a very personal story for me. And I might shed a tear because it's very personal to me. Anyway, so this is what happened. June 24th, 2011, approximately around 4 o'clock in the morning, my mom breathed her last breath. I was 18 years old at the time, with a birthday right around the corner, turning 19. And I had to make the difficult decision to take my mom off life support. A situation happened due to her addiction to alcohol, and it led her in the hospital. And basically, I was her next of kin, and I had to ask myself, what am I going to do? Because the doctors called me, my grandmother, and my uncle into the office, and they said, this is his mother, he's of age, he's 18, he needs to make the decision if he wants to keep his mom on life support. And it was probably one of the most difficult moments in my life. If you can even imagine, we're thinking that, the doctors are like, okay, it's going to be okay. She's in the hospital. She had a seizure. We were thinking, these things happen. She went in there for edema, and, it's alcohol related. And then we found out an incident. And I'm not going to get too much into that incident because I want to kind of steer it back to Britney. But this is a vital part of my story with Britney and why Britney is such an important piece in my life. I made the decision that I knew my mom would not want to be alive by a machine, and to never live again, to never drink her favorite Jose Cuervo tequila shots, and, her listening to Faith Evans and, Usher and Neo and Chris Brown, all her favorite, R&B artists. R&B was her forte, pop is my forte. But I also respectively love R&B as well, so I do consider myself an R&B artist, definitely. But my mom, she just had a very lively personality. If you, imagine me, she was pretty much me times 10. And, probably respectively a better version of myself. The old me that I used to be, because I was a hot mess. We'll get into that in the next episode. But I'm just really excited because Britney, we all have our ways of coping with loss, whether it's divorce, death, people have different ways of, coping and dealing with things. And sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's really not that easy. And so you can imagine, me being 18 years old having to make that decision, but realizing that I knew my mom wouldn't want that. And, I made the decision to take her off life support, and she fought on her own for 4 hours breathing. And at 4 o'clock in the morning, June 24th, 2011, she breathed her last breath. And we were at Arrowhead Hospital in Rialto, California, for those who know where that is. And my entire family was there. We were at the top floor, all of my family, my mom's friends, family friends, a few of my friends, everybody was there to support me and my grandmother during a really difficult time, as well as her brothers. And, it was just really a personal moment. And then we fast forward a few hours later to us obviously going back home. And, my family, they're discussing with me, about, okay, well, you're going to have to plan the funeral and all this. You need to do this and that. This is like your baby now. Like, this is your focus. This is you growing up and being a man. You have to get this done. And I totally get that. I come from a very strong Native American family. But with our strength comes a lot of struggle and addiction, obviously. But overall, my family's very strong, and I've been through a lot of stuff, and so have they, and we're still standing. And so they decided to basically say, because I had these tickets, my grandmother, she bought me tickets to the Femme Fatale tour, and it was at Honda Center. I believe that's in Anaheim, California. And, I had these tickets for months. My mom, when she was alive, before she was in the hospital and got in the coma and all that stuff happened, my mom knew that I was going to go see Britney Spears. She knew that I bought meet and greet tickets. And, I just remember her being so excited. Me and my mom had a crazy relationship, but she knew how much I love Britney Spears. That's something that she could not deny, that her son loved that. Her son's life was, Britney Spears, pretty much, growing up singing, dancing Britney Spears, getting t-shirts, having posters all over the wall. Like, you're going to see some pictures of me, like, as a kid, literally standing Britney in this episode. And, I was so excited to meet Britney. This was during the Femme Fatale era, and for me personally, even now, I know a lot of the fans kind of have a love-hate relationship with the Femme Fatale era, simply because, it was one of the eras that Britney was pretty much forced to do, now that we know. But at the same time, it was an era that, for me, I thought was so iconic, because it was truly her comeback. Because with Circus was like, boom, she's here, Femme Fatale was just amplified, but at the same time, there's just something going on with her and her mood and her energy and her vibe where it wasn't really her, even when I met her. But she was still a sweetheart, and we're going to get to that right now. So my family basically told me that, if you're even thinking about going to this concert, you're insane. And it's crazy, because I not only had tickets to this concert, but I had tickets to Rihanna's Loud Tour meet and greet. And they were a lot cheaper than Britney's. And I was super excited to go to that, because I saw pictures of Britney, or not Britney, Rihanna, like, blazing up with her fans. And just really cool. Like, it looked like her meet and greet was, like, really, like, down to earth. And, like, the fans had more time. Obviously, with Britney, I feel like herself, she would want to spend more time in the meet and greet with her fans, talking to them, but obviously Team Con didn't want that. Especially when I give you guys the tea on what Robin Greenhill told me before I went into the room to go meet Britney. And we were all in the line. Once I told them my story, they literally pulled me aside and they said, "You cannot tell Britney this." So we're going to get into that. So my family decided that, it wasn't basically my choice to go to Britney's concert or Rihanna's concert. They're like, "You're insane. Your mom died. Like, you're gonna go celebrate by going, to these concerts. They didn't understand. People have different ways of coping. Pop music is my life. If I'm depressed, if I go through a breakup, or even if I'm hungry, like, I just gotta put on a Britney Spears record, a Lady Gaga record, a Madonna record, Katy Perry, Avril Lavigne, like Demi Lovato's older stuff. Like, it's pop music. That's what helps me, and how dare them try and tell me, when I'm 18 years old and I can make a decision if I want to go. And so I decided that, it was a very important time for me, but I also knew what I was facing. And I knew that I needed some way to cope and some way to heal with such a major loss at such a young age. And I decided that I wasn't going to go to the Rihanna concert. But obviously, for personal reasons, I decided I need to go to this Britney concert. It's not like I was seeing Britney for the first time. I went to the Circus Store in 2009. And, I went VIP to that concert as well. But Britney, I didn't meet her. But that's when I met more of her team. That's when I met, Adam Lever, Larry Rudolph. I met Lindsay Lohan, Gabrielle Union. That was a really big show. It was at Staples Center in Anaheim on April 17th. It was a really, really big show. That was probably my favorite Britney concert over Femme Fatale. There was a lot of elements of Femme Fatale tour that I really liked. But anyways, when I met Britney, we're going to get to this now. Here we are. The moment you guys all waited for. When I met Britney Spears, our icon, the Princess of Pop, I consider her a queen, though, to be honest, okay? It was the same day my mom died. So, my family was totally against me. And so I went with one of my good friends who totally understood the pain that I was going through. And she basically kind of took a stand with me. And it kind of made her look bad because she was a family friend, but she fought for me. And she said, we're going to go to this concert. You need to do this. Your mom would want you to do this. Your mom would want you to be happy. And so she went with me, and she's not necessarily the biggest Britney fan, but we both loved the Femme Fatale album and the Circus album. Those two albums we played nonstop together. And, so she went with me in support to the concert. Of course, I got her ticket, took care of her. I do that to all my friends when I'm able to. I like to take care of my friends. It makes me feel good. But, we went to the concert, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Elle, that's her name. I was like, I don't want to come across, overly, emotional, but at the same time, I don't want to be, too robotic to where Britney's like, oh my God, does he have, a soul? Does his heart fucking beat at all? What's going on with him? And, so I was just insane, and you can imagine, the pain, I just lost my mom in the morning, and now, it's the evening, and I'm at a Britney Spears concert. It's literally, stuff like this does not happen in real life all the time. You don't just lose your mom and go to a Britney concert. That's not common. And so it was a really crazy moment for me. And I remember that I wanted to share with her, obviously, what happened, but I also wanted to share it just to tell her how important she is to me, that she's helping me cope. With, obviously a deep loss. So, we get to the concert, me and my friends, they take us, they do the tour backstage. We go in Britney's dressing room. She's not in there, but I seen, her wardrobe, and it was gorgeous. And I was just super excited. Seeing some more of her dancers, didn't take pictures with them this time. And I was just super excited. And then they take us to this room, and it's all purple or pink. I can't remember, but it was one of those colors. And it was where the fans that bought the meet and greet tickets, it wasn't a lot of us. I was kind of surprised. I would say it was probably maybe 25, 30 people, and I thought it would have been more. And the line was very narrow, and it just kind of went. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too long of a line. And Robin Greenhill was there with a few other people directing the fans, you know, what to do during the meet and greet and different stuff like that. So I get to her and I'm like, Robin, hi, I'm James. You know, at the time I just went by my actual birth name. Everyone knows me by J Tundra. That's my stage name as an artist. For my career from this point forward, I am J Tundra. But, you know, I was like, hi, I'm James. It's nice to meet you. Like, I'm so excited to meet you. Like, I met some of Britney's team prior at Circus, and I didn't meet you at the time. And so, you know, her personality, we're not going to say that she was warm and welcoming. You know, at the same time, I don't want to be disrespectful. Even though she deserves it. You know, she wasn't the warmest person. But I'm also not going to say she was just a total B-word at the time. She just wasn't welcoming. And when I told her my story, you know, I can't believe her response. She literally told me, you cannot tell Britney that. Don't tell Britney that. Don't even think about bringing it up to her. And it's just the way, I'm really good with energy and vibes. And when she said that, I got chills down my spine. Like, I got like this really super bad feeling. Why would you want your client not to hear or whatever? Why would you want Britney not to hear something so personal that literally happened that same day? Like, obviously it's a part of my story, you know, like it's a part of what happened to me, you know? And I'm so grateful that I can talk to you guys about this now, because there was a time where I couldn't talk about my story without just literally bawling in tears. And it's been 10 years since I met Britney Spears, and it's been 10 years since my mother's death. Anyways, so yeah, you know, like, she's like, you can't tell Britney that. And so then I'm the next one up. I'm freaking out. And then on top of that, what she's telling me, that's making me freak out. And my mom's dead. I'm freaking out about that. I'm meeting my icon that I grew up to, that created who I was. Like, I'm freaking the fuck out. And I'm trying to remain calm because I did not want to look crazy. And so I just went up. And me and my friend were there. And I looked at Britney and I said, Britney, my mom passed away today. And I'm so grateful to meet you. And you've been an inspiration to me my whole life. And the fact that I'm able to meet you and, you know, you're helping me, like, with a really difficult time. Because I just lost my mom. And obviously we couldn't, you know, have an exchange because, you know, there's fans like, okay, bye, bitch. We ain't worried about you. We don't care about your story. We want to see the queen, you know, like, let's be real. And, so, you know, but Britney, I just remember the look on her face. She was just so shocked. Like, you know, she just couldn't believe that. That's not a story that you hear every day. And, she was so sweet. She just said, I appreciate you coming. She was like, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I know that that must be so difficult. And she's like, if my music can help you feel liberated or comforted in any way. And, you know, I asked her, I said, if I could ask you one question, what are your favorite songs from Femme Fatale? And she told me, Trip to Your Heart, Drop Dead Beautiful, and He About to Lose Me at the time were her favorites. And those are like my favorites, you know. And then I told her, oh my gosh, I need a music video for Big Fat Bass, which you guys are going to come for me, but I love Big Fat Bass. I just feel like if she did like a music video where she was like in a dance studio with a bunch of dancers, like kind of like Madonna's Hung Up, I feel like it would be really cool for that video. And so that was it. You know, it was like literally a minute. So me and my friend go back. Then we go back into the room where they have the free drinks and all that stuff and the snacks. And I get called back by Edan. So Edan comes and gets me. I go and I talk to Edan, and he basically, another one, he wasn't as bougie, we're gonna say, as Robin. And plus, I had a crush on Edan before we found out, okay, like, what happened. And so he was like, Brittany wants to talk to you. So we go back. And she's like, I just want you to know that your story matters, and one day your story's going to be heard, and one day your talents are going to be heard. And she said, I got to go on stage. Like, and I was like, what? And like, I didn't know how to take that. He takes me back. Me and my friend wasn't with me. She still doesn't believe me until this time, but she saw me be escorted by a dad. So it's like, how can you not believe me and you're my friend? Maybe it was just she felt shook. I don't know. But it was a moment where I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And obviously nothing happened with my career because when my mom died, I went down a dark path. And so obviously I'm doing this now. And I'll just never forget meeting Britney that day. Like, she really helped me. And I remember the show, even though I can see looking back that obviously she was going through so much. It was the first 3 years of the conservatorship, obviously. She just thought she was going to be in the conservatorship for the first year. So, it's a very difficult time for her, obviously. And, she just handles it like a fucking boss. Like, goes on stage, puts on a show, and I just, for an hour and a half or 2 hours, how long it wasn't even on my mind that my mom was gone. Like, I just felt in the moment. I felt at peace. I felt like, okay, and when moments would come, like the little, interlude sessions where Britney would go change and the dancers would have their moment or whatever, And I look at my phone, and obviously, there's a picture of my mom and me on my phone. And, I have those moments, but I'm okay, because I'm in the moment. I'm at Britney's show. I'm enjoying, the fruits of her labor, with Circus and Femme Fatale, two of my all-time favorite Britney albums. And so I was able to, for a moment, really be able to be in the moment and just be alive. And it was really, really, really awesome. And I'll never forget that. As people know on Exhale, there's an account. I'm not going to say the name, but there's an account that a lot of her fans believe is truly Britney. I've been through so much things in my life where sometimes it's like you wouldn't believe it, but it's like I have a gift, many gifts, and when it comes to my personal spiritual gifts, when I feel something's right, it's right. When I feel something's wrong, it's wrong. And I've responded and corresponded, I should say, with that alleged account. And 100% I know it's Britney, and I just know in my heart that I can't believe it, but somehow, some way, 10 years later, I'm back on Exhale with my fellow Britney stans. And, like, I feel like our paths are going to cross again. I don't know how, and I know people are going to say it's a reach, and, who knows if it ever happens. I'm already going into this not expecting my docuseries to be a huge hit, obviously. I'm not Kylie Jenner. I'm not one of the, makeup artists like Manny Mua or, that James person. I forget his name. Obviously I'm not that. But I would like to be. I'm inspired to be, I have a personality. I have talents. I'm a producer and artist. You'll get to know that in the other episodes. But I'm doing this because I truly believe that Britney and I will cross paths again. I would literally piss my pants if she ever asked me to produce for B10. A lot of her fans on Exhale have heard my music, and they all agree that I should be collectively, a part of B10 if she ever decides to do B10, and that's simply because I'm heavily inspired as a producer by Blackout. That's just an album that is just hard to try to, do. Like, it has its own energy, sound. It's so iconic. And like, I literally, like, that album is just insane. I love Blackout, and so as a producer, I like those beats. I like the dark, sexy pop club bangers, and I want to bring that sound back. I feel like the underground club sound has kind of been missing, or it's been sidelined, and it's definitely something that's like what I want to do as a producer and as an artist. I also am a singer and a songwriter, so obviously I want to put my lyrics and my vocals and everything to my music eventually, when I'm able to. But right now I'm starting from the bottom. And if little old me, had the opportunity, I would say in my mind that Britney would ask me to produce 2 songs. Even if those songs were bonus tracks or promo singles or B-sides, I would just be so honored to produce 2 songs for B10. Like, I literally have 2 beats in my phone that I have not shared with anybody, and they are so fire, but they're super high energy. I know that as an artist, Britney, from what we could see, I feel like she wants to be more of an urban artist, pop R&B, and she does it well. Gloria was such a great record, and one of my favorites. So, yeah, that was my experience meeting Britney Spears. I'll never forget it. She was a sweetheart, and I'm so thankful for her support at the time, and I really hope that our paths cross. And if that's her account on Exhale, she's heard my music as a producer. Her favorite song is Creep Show from my EP Experiment X Lost Files. It's a very NYC urban song, and yeah, if she would want me to do something kind of urban like that for her, I definitely would. But I definitely want